This time we're here for the prediction of UFC 288 Sterling vs Cejudo, starting in the pre-prelim card with 3 fights. First fight of the night, taking place in the middleweight division, but actually a catchweight bout since one of the fighters missed weight by 4 pounds. We've got Joseph Holmes taking on Claudio Ribeiro. Note that Ribeiro is a favorite, and all of his victories are by knockout or technical knockout. Safe to say and predict that Claudio Ribeiro is going once again to pick up the win by knockout or technical knockout. Moving on, in the middleweight division, we stay in this division for now. Phil Howes taking on Ikram Aliskerov. This is the debut fight for Aliskerov in the UFC. His last fight was for the Dana White Contender Series, and his only loss on his record comes from Khamzat Chimaev. Now, this is enough to convince me and predict that Aliskerov is going to pick up the win by a finish. I don't know what finish. I don't know if it's going to be a submission, or a knockout, or a technical knockout. But I don't see Aliskerov taking a decision win for his debut. I think in his mind he has to maximize his debut, and a finish is the best way to do so. Alright, moving on. In the heavyweight division, we've got Braxton Smith taking on Parker Porter. This is also the debut for Braxton Smith in the UFC. One important crazy fact about him is that he has a 100% first round KO finish rate. That's crazy. However, he lost to Chase Sherman, but I don't think it's going to impact the fight and the result of the fight, since it was for his MMA debut back in 2014. I'm going to go and predict Braxton Smith to pick up the win and extend this fabulous first round KO finish rate, because he's going to win by knockout or technical knockout. And that's it for the prelim card, meaning we now move on to the prelim card with 4 fights, and the first fight being in the strawweight division. 5th ranked Marina Rodriguez takes on 9th ranked Virna Jandiroba. Rodriguez is a favorite, yet Jandiroba only lost to decision, but I understand that as Jandiroba's last fight was almost a year ago, that Rodriguez is like more sharp and more how could I say? Well, she's more sharp than Jandiroba. But we'll have to see. I'm not really sure of this one. It can go either way. But I'm gonna predict Marina Rodriguez to pick up the win by decision. Moving on, in the welterweight division, we've got Chaos Williams taking on Rolando Bedoya. This is the debut for Bedoya in the UFC. Both of the fighters only have lost to decision. So, as Chaos Williams has been in the UFC for a longer time than his opponent, I'm going to predict Chaos Williams to pick up the win by decision. Alright, next, in the light heavyweight division, we've got Kennedy Nzechukwu taking on Devin Clark. I don't know both of them. I don't know them very well. I simply don't. I know they have fought in the UFC for a couple of times, couple of years, but I don't know them at all. And I don't know them as well as other fighters in the light heavyweight division. This is kind of random, and because it can go also either way, but I'm gonna predict Enzo Shoko to pick up the win by decision. But really, it can be anything. This is a fight I'm gonna be surprised because, well, I don't really have expectations. Alright, moving on. In the lightweight division, we've got 14th ranked Drew Dober facing off Matt Trevola. Drew Dober is a veteran. He's also the favorite. And one important fact about Drew Dober, his only loss by knockout or technical knockout was back in 2011. So he's just a dog. He's ready for war. I don't see him being knocked out. I don't see him quit. Yet he has been submitted sometimes in the UFC, but he doesn't have a perfect record, I know. I don't see him quit. Instead, because he's on a 3-fight winning streak, I see him picking up the win and extending that streak. And that's it for the prelim card, meaning we are now in the main card. 5 fights, and there's a surprise, but you'll see. In the men's featherweight division, we've got Ron Gracie taking on Charles Jourdain. Now, this is a return for Ron Gracie after 3 years and a half. One important fact is his record. He only has submission wins, but 1 decision loss. Back in 2019 against Cub Swanson, if I remember well. Yet, Jourdain is the favorite. Actually, I don't see Ron Gracie returning and being sharp, because we see a lot of people returning and just being the best version of themselves. But I don't know. He kind of got away, got a 3.5-year layoff, but he did that layoff after he lost, and not after he won. So I don't think he's going to be ready for that. I'm picking Charles Jourdain to get the win by knockout or technical knockout. Moving on, we stay in the men's featherweight division as 10th ranked Movsar Evloev, that has a perfect record, 16-0, undefeated, takes on Diego Lopez, that is a late replacement for Bryce Mitchell, as Bryce Mitchell injured his back during training. So it's the debut for Lopez. That doesn't change the fact that Evloev is the favorite, and I don't see Evloev being endangered by a up-and-comer, literally a newcomer in the UFC. So my prediction is Movsar Evloev picking up the win by decision. Moving on, we go back to the strawweight division as 4th ranked Jessica Andrade takes on 6th ranked Yan Xiaonan. Note that Andrade is a favorite, yet she comes off a loss to Erin Blanchfield earlier this year. I think she fought twice in 2023, so twice before this one. That's a lot. Respect to her. And I think overall, as she is a former champion, she is a former champion, I'm gonna predict her to pick up the win by technical knockout. I don't see a submission, although she's very good at submitting people. The last submission she did was on Amanda Lemos, and it was a standing. what was it? A standing something, standing armbar, or no, not standing armbar. Well, standing something, like she submitted someone standing. That's incredible. So yeah, but I don't see a submission for this fight. I see a technical knockout. I don't see a knockout as well. Technical knockout, Andrade to pick up the win, and being in line for a title shot, because, well, she's going to deserve it at some point. Moving on. Wow, this one is crazy. This is a bit of a surprise for me. I have never seen that before. For the co-main event, is a 5-round fight, but there are no titles on the line. Crazy, but it was asked by one of the fighters, so I understand. And truly, both of the fighters deserve this 5-round fight. So it's in the welterweight division, and 4th ranked Belal, remember the name, Muhammad, takes on 5th ranked Gilbert Durinho Burns. Some interesting facts, both of the fighters never been submitted, so I don't see a submission win here. They are both very sharp. They have very good records. 20-3 for Muhammad and 20-5 for Burns. Very sharp. And as I say, very sharp. Gilbert Burns already fought twice as well in 2023. He fought like a month ago, so that's crazy. Burns is the favorite, and I understand because he faced the champions, and like even recently he finished. Not finished. It was by decision, but he obliterated Jorge Masvidal. Like there was no chance at all. There was no controversial decision in him winning against Jorge Masvidal. There was not. He just dominated him, plain and simple. Now this fight is different. Belal Muhammad is different than Jorge Masvidal. I don't know who to pick. This is going to be a close fight. I see the fight being goes to the decision. Sorry. Now who is gonna take the decision win? I just hope it's not going to be a controversial one. But in my mind, Belal Muhammad is more likely to get the win by decision. Yet, we can be surprised, because if they ask for 5 rounds, that can be a surprise. And trust me, there's always room for a surprise. Alright, moving on. We're in the main event. 5-round fight in the men's bantamweight division. Title on the line. Aljamain Funkmaster Sterling takes on Henry the Messenger Cejudo, that maybe some of you know much better as Triple C, but his nickname is the Messenger. So it's the return of Henry Cejudo after a 3-year layoff, but we know he has been sharp. He has been in the gym constantly, and he stayed sharp. One important fact, that those two fighters never been submitted. So I'm going to take off a submission win for both fighters. That's simply not going to happen. Now, Aljamain Sterling is on a pretty important winning streak, the best in the bantamweight division for now. But damn, Henry Cejudo is called Triple C because he is a Olympic gold medalist, flyweight champion in the UFC, and bantamweight champion. He vacated the title back in 2020. He wasn't beaten for the title. This is why he's coming back. This is hard to predict. Still, I'm gonna say that Henry Cejudo, just like John Jones, is going to shock the world and claim back the bantamweight title, the men's bantamweight title, and he's going to win by decision. I don't see Aljamain Sterling being finished, even if there's this drama about him faking the Peter Yan fight, where the knee wasn't really worthy of stopping the fight. I'm not going to take account of that drama. You take a knee to the face, I think you hurt, so I'm not going to take like, oh, he's an actor, or all that from the internet. I don't see him being knocked out or having a TKO loss. No, I see this going 5 rounds to the decision, and Henry Cejudo winning by decision. And that's it for the predictions. This is a stacked event. I'm not gonna say anything else. Just wish you a good day and see you next time.